Dar dacă vrei să faci singur, e treaba ta. Da, da. Yep. You know it? Yep.
King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice.
Dear E, I received.
Eu tot acum am rămas la cer. Bă, nu știu ce să mai fac la... Ce să mai fac cu diamantele alea?
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did.
Mă gândeam
Rumors
asta.
spread quickly, you know. How awful.
Mă gândeam să dau la banner în continuare.
But I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times. No doubt she suffered greatly.
9 times? What monster is capable of such a horrible thing? Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Da, îl duc și el, eu știam,
Are
îl
you
duc și el,
Lord
nu îl
Mortimer's
duc.
snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Did you and Elizabeth get to know each other?
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
We found the murder weapon.
What is it?
A dagger, quite slim.
Have you found its owner?
Not yet. Still searching as it happens. That said, since a blade penetrated the body several times, the murderer's hand will have been covered in blood.
You think that's a clue?
The
Da, e
handprint was a
skin.
very slender hand.
Te doar la banană pe tine de skill-uri.
Do you realize what that means? There are only 3 of us on the island. Bearing in mind that neither my sister nor myself had any reason to set upon the young lady, that means...
I know, Emily. I know.
Keep up your courage, Louis. I'm sure there's an explanation. You're bound to shed some light on it all.
If what you say is true, Emily, I'm less and less enthusiastic about shedding any light on the subject. I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Poate să aibă și 99.999 dacă el de primul tot murtește.
A letter from William Pitt the Younger addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister
Ce-ar
of the
face
United
tot?
Kingdom.
Și dacă o iei, n-ai cum să faci.
Queen Charlotte. All the royal family of England is there from what I can tell. A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam, I shall...
Nu înțeleg de la ce atâta. Caractere mai multe ca mine nu ai? Ce? De-ai? Atât am pus de să... Efectiv nu înțeleg. Nu înțeleg. 30, 32 sau 34, nu știu și mie. $2 milioane CC level 60. Parcă zici că ești copil de ăla de 12 ani. Acum ai intrat prima oară în jocul ăsta? E prima oară când intri în el? Sau joci cumva de 2 ani? Aha. Îți dă 30 de caractere, de la level 50 la level 60, 2 milioane CC? Atunci mai bagă-ți mințile în cap. Mai bagă-ți minți. Mai bagă-ți mințile în cap. Mai bagă-ți mințile în cap. Eu te întrebam serios, ce mama dracu e diferența aia așa mare, că nu înțeleg. 2 milioane CC, de unde pula mea 2 milioane CC? Ce morți măsii? Am pe toate caracterele aproape HP defense, toate! Toate! Doar ăla care are nevoie de atac. Care-i faza? Nu înțeleg. Mama, n-avea 2 milioane CC?
What about?
Nu prea știu. No, exagerez eu o leacă cu... Exagerez eu odată cu... Nu, 1.300. Cât ai? 1.350.000?
The Prince by Machiavelli. A perfect read for the surfeit of
Mai
ambition.
trebuie... Cât?
Might come in handy.
Dă de 1.200.000, frate. Mesește 2000.
The Battle of Alexander at Issus, or
No.
how Alexander the Great triumphed. It's a beautiful weapon. Levi Damask, my dearest son.
Nu, clar, nu ajunge, clar,
Corn
clar.
decorated with a
Nu ajunge.
cockade. It
No.
must belong to a French soldier.
Nu, dacă la oamenii ăla de 2000, mie îmi dă 200, 100%. Garantat.
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Da.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
Cât ai 61?
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
L-ai fost la Guild Pass.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests'
Na,
comings
nu
and
înțeleg
goings,
de la
but
ce
I
e
don't
atâta
think
CC.
so.
Chiar
Thank
nu-mi
you.
dau seama.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly.
Nu înțeleg.
As
Toate
for me,
caracterele mele nu
I
am un
must have
caracter care
stayed
n-are
until
echipament pe el.
I was
Dă și
exhausted
frauder în
from
ăla
the
care nu l-am făcut level.
so I preferred to go up to bed.
Are echipament.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No. Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
As any good soldier would, I imagine you own a firearm. May I see it?
Oh, well, if you really want to, here is my pistol. Don't worry, it is not loaded.
Do you have several of these?
In Corsica, oui, but not on me when I am traveling.
No, impossible.
Only a bandit would carry such an arsenal.
Thank you. Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were
Deci
doing
fii atent.
exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is
Doamne,
an
stai.
idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful.
Cât ai zis că ai 60?
You see,
1, 2,
on the
3,
night of my
4,
arrival,
5,
I saw someone leaving
6,
her room in haste,
7,
and I wanted
8,
to speak to
9,
her to warn her.
10,
Unfortunately,
11,
the young lady
12,
slipped through my
13,
fingers each
14,
time.
15,
Now I
16,
know why.
17,
She had every
18,
reason to be
19,
worried. What
20,
an idiot I was not
21,
to insist. I could have helped
21
her.
ori 5, 110, 21 ori 5, 105, 105 caractere la level 100, 105, 105. Nu înțeleg, nu înțeleg, nu înțeleg, frate, nu înțeleg, efectiv nu înțeleg. Nu înțeleg. Dacă ne uităm, fii atent, man,
Were you
dacă ne uităm la câte caractere, au în enhanced costumele, pariu pe cât vrei tu că am mult mai multe decât tu. Mult mai multe, extrem de multe. Extrem de multe. Extrem de multe. Deci cum o diferența asta de 100 cu 100, 100 tu cu 60? Așa e gen acolo. Tu gen 300, eu gen vreo 800. Dacă sunt atâtea echipamente. Înțelegi ce zic? Un pisici, măsi.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
exactly?
Ce?
Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
De la 80 în jos? Păi nu am. Ei, n-am nimic la 80. N-am nimic la 80. No, am 90 și pe urmă restul 50. Vreo 40-50. Poate mai bine. 2, 3. Dă un pisiș că n-are cum să fie la atâta de la alea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. 12 ori 5, 60. 60, 60, 60, vreo 65. 60, 65 face. Da, 50. Și restul, totul, restul între shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 31 caractere lipsă. 31 caractere lipsă. Ce? Toate minus 31. Că am dat așa pe all. Pula mea, nu știu. Nu știu câte sunt. Păi, nu știu dacă sunt 180. Nu sunt 180. Mai multe, 190. Stai așa. Am zis că sunt 105, 105, 30 lipsă, 65. 165, 165 plus 170 așa plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Plus încă vreo 40, cred? Plus încă 40 level 90. Deci 200 sunt cam câte avem. 200, 200 și un pic, 200, 205, 210, ceva genul. Noi cred că avem 200. 200, 210. Da, mă, Amanda, e altă fază. Tu ai 60 de caractere care sunt Tu ai 60 de caractere care nu sunt 100. Eu am 60 de caractere care practic sunt 100. Și e diferența aia dintre... Am înțeles, tu le-ai pe alte 60. Dar nu e atâta, nu are de ce să fie 1.000.000. Exact! Exact! Cum nu ar fi? Singura chestie ce poți să faci, faci altă chestie. Iei câte caractere ai și le bagi la câte level ai. 7000 level. Și ăla 7500. La 500 de level sau ceva de genul. Am zis așa, nu ar trebui, man, dar nu este. Nu ar trebui să fie. Dar pot să fac foarte simplu. Aia pula, n-ai cum. N-ai. Păi da, la mine pot să fac simplu, că pot să mulțesc 50 cu câte am. Eu pot să aflu simplu câte am. Și levelul care l-am pe caractere tot adunate. Da, nu înțeleg, frate. Nu știu, frate, că eu sunt tras de dimineață de la 5. L-am dus pe tata la Brașov să meargă acasă.
Lovely damask blade. It's marked with the initials of the manufacturer in Versailles.
Zece, da, nu știu până. Eu mai stau alea, că acum când mai ia somn, nu... Sunt offline, când mă las. Poți să dai mesaj, nu știu. Da, man, serios, chiar nu înțeleg de unde, de unde atâta lipsă, chiar serios. Nu, mă doare la banană că ai tu 50 milioane, că eu am 3. Mă doare la banană. Dar zic așa, că cam aceleași chestii le avem. Sunt prea multe, ai prea multe, poate Super Awakened și de-astea. Ai foarte multe Super Awakening-uri? Ia fă un calcul și zi ce Super Awakening-uri ai. Deci fii atent, eu am așa. Maxim. Asta cât înseamnă? Zi număr. Deci cât ai zis că ai 100? Man, și eu am multe urcate, să știi, adică am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19... Fii de man, și eu am 20. 20 ori 5, am 100 de caractere, doar 6 steluțe. Și pe mă vin așa. 10 de 5. Da, că așa fac și eu acum. Eu acum mi le urc în funcție de level și doar pe la care consumă una. Dacă vrea să consume 2-3 și nu consumă mai multe, așa-l urc. După ce termin cu toate de le urc acolo, pe urmă le urc pe alea care mă interesează. Păi eu mai stau pe alea, că acum dacă mai mă găsești pe aici am mult, nu știu. Pa. Damn, he left.
There's just one holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in it.
going out.
So Jacques Peru?
What do you want from me, de Richet?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
A pattern with 4 circles. The Massacre of the Innocents, but by Van Harlem. I think that Mortimer likes to play mind games with his guests. The Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. Guess my room is not that bad. Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. And there's some well-known names on it. This is valuable
Okay.
information. This shouldn't be lying around.
Dear friend, please come.
A pattern with 4 circles. Dear Monsieur Peru,
I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
All right. Have you finished?
not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. I know you were at the scene. We will save a lot of time if you just tell me what happened.
You know nothing at all.
Enlighten me then. For now, I have your footprint in a pool of blood.
That's right. The only thing you can prove is one of my boots was at the scene. Congratulations, you've wrapped up the investigation. All right, have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. You were armed the night of my arrival. Can I see your weapon?
No.
You do realize you're not helping, don't you? You're making it worse for yourself. I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting. All right, have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions.
Goodbye, sir. We shall meet again.
Probably.
Monsieur Johann van Wulner.
The Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever-obedient servant. So, Werner had a relationship with Elizabeth, but that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult. The alchemist is a young man. A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
What can I do for you, de Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly. Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now. We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever obedient servant. So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth, but that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult. I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
It's Volner.
What proof do you have against him?
Elizabeth and Volner had an affair right here, which came to an end. I haven't been able to determine who put an end to it, though.
What my guests do in their beds is no concern of mine. But I shall take note, as jealousy can indeed often lead to folly. Anything else?
He did try to squeeze information out of me about Adams.
Just as any worthy guest would do. Have you anything else?
No, I think that's enough to accuse him.
It's a bit light, but I shall speak to Gregory about it and compare your findings with other information. Given the distinguished guests and the political issues involved at the conference, I trust you will leave me to conclude the case in my own way. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother, Louis.
She seems to be making every effort to steer clear of your guests.
What do you mean?
For the past few weeks, my mother's been playing cat and mouse, if you will. I don't know why, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that she's trying to avoid someone. The question is, who?
And in your opinion, would she be the cat or the mouse?
I'd like to answer the cat, but unfortunately I'm increasingly worried that she's in fact the mouse.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities and yours in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far. Yet he told me that you had spoken and that you hadn't been able to reach an understanding.
That's putting it mildly. Monsieur Bonaparte is one of those guys who only understands people who think like he does.
Ah, I see what you mean. He is indeed rather inflexible when it comes to certain subjects. But I am still of the opinion that you can manage to get along.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable. France is in turmoil, and having support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I am sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Maybe she found something out.
What do you mean?
My mother has a gift for investigating. If she had picked up a lead, nothing would have stopped her.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
Tell me about her disappearance.
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
Emily has a twin sister who knew my mother? What's she playing at, goddammit? That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you. The room was just opposite Mortimer's study.
What's this here?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. A fierce opponent of the first Christians, St. Paul is suddenly struck by the call of Jesus Christ and converts. It's the best known conversion in Christian history, which teaches us that even enemies of Christ can be saved, and even become his greatest apostles after finding faith. From what I can recall, the account of his conversion can be found in the epistles to the Galatians, the Philippians, the Corinthians, and the Acts of the Apostles.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays. What is this disc? There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there. The door appears to be locked on the other side. think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like, we'll see if it works. It's open. A chest with the occult symbol representing air. A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. The New Testament. And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in Jordan. How shall not the ministration of the Spirit not be more glorious? And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note. It's been folded carefully in the corner of this page. The writing, it's not my mother's. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that mean? Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note.
Follow the clues left by your mothers.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
A fragment of amber.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
I guess I'll just come back later. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Dante's paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays. There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
St. John is known as the youngest of Christ's apostles. Well, we often give credit to St. John for having written about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Devil's Thorn.
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the apostles by Guido Reni. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel.
Here's the angel? What does that mean?
Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note.
And a voice came out of the throne, saying, Praise our God, all ye his servants, and ye that fear him, both small and great. Saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power, and riches, and wisdom, and strength, and honor, and glory, and blessing. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew, Golgotha. A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.